Hi, I'm Jenny from Jenny's Greenhouse. Just to let you know that this is the week that is National Bird Box Week, and I want to just tell you a bit about different bird boxes since it is Bird Box Week. And I'd like to thank you for liking, subscribing and visiting my channel. It's always great to see people subscribing. So, bird boxes. We've got really about 3 different major types of bird box, and they are, I could say bird box, but in fact some of them aren't even really a box. So we've got the standard one with the hole at the front, often made of wood. And wood is a very warm, sensible sort of substance to make a bird box. And it'll last about 10-15 years. And of course you make it out of wood with no preservatives. Or you can buy them, of course. And there are about 3 different sizes of holes that you can have on those types of bird boxes. And very often those are for different species. So the smallest holes are for our smaller birds, like our tits. And then the larger holes are things for like our bigger tits, like the great tit. And you'll also find that our sparrows use those a lot. And sparrows actually like to live communally. So you may have heard of things called sparrow terraces. Well, sparrow terraces aren't that popular with the sparrows. I've recently learnt, even though I have one in my own garden, and that may be why it's not being used. But that is because they prefer to live together, but not close to each other, not next to each other. So if you are thinking of providing some bird boxes for sparrows, then just leave a little gap, a few, sort of another bird box gap between the 2 bird boxes. The other thing about the different types of bird boxes is about the ones that are very much more about the open-sided ones, and our robins and our blackbirds love these types of bird boxes. They prefer to have them somewhere hidden. So if you can find a patch of hedge, or you've got some ivy or some other climbers growing up a structure, that will be really good for them to be able to have these open boxes that they can just dive straight into, but at the same time be a bit hidden from view. Third type are the more specialist boxes, and these come primarily from us because of our summer visitors, the swallows, the swifts, the house martins. Now the swallows' nests are basically a pretty enclosed cone, and traditionally they'd make these out of mud and saliva. The house martin one is a bit more open at the top, and then the swift boxes are a very different sort of arrangement, but they tend to have an oval shape hole towards the bottom of the nest box. And these are nests that don't tend to have a lot of nesting material in them. The nest itself is the nest primarily, and in fact in the swift boxes you'll find that they make a wooden ring to hold the nest, which effectively there's no materials taken in at all by the swifts. So swift boxes don't need to be cleaned out. But then you've got the bigger bird boxes, the sort of things you might find in a nature reserve, where you've got an owl nesting box and that sort of thing. And while I'm talking about nest boxes in general, of course, our bats could do with a bit of help as well. So bat boxes are also a great addition. Now, bird boxes, ideally on something like a southeast facing wall. So warm, but not too hot. And the higher up, the better. Particularly for things like our summer visitors. But also, you know, make sure they're out of cat reach. That's the worst thing, is to put it on a fence that the cats can walk along the top and just go boop and, you know, grab a little one or grab a parent as they're trying to get in and out of the nest box. But if that's the only place you've got to put them, then, you know, try and put some protection over the box, perhaps, possibly. But, you know, the birds will work it out if the cats are using it regularly anyway. So cleaning the nest boxes, obviously you're not allowed to disturb the nest whilst it's being used. But once the nest has been finished with at the end of the year, ideally you want to be taking that out. So, you know, put a note in your diary to go and clean your nest boxes out in the sort of October, November period. Certainly not now, because actually birds are beginning to nest. Birds are beginning to take nesting material around in their beaks. So, you know, this is not the time to be doing anything in spring. And, you know, there's one good reason we have Valentine's Day, and that's because the birds start nesting around that time. And, you know, that's a good enough indicator for most of us. So I'd like to say thank you, and do like, share and subscribe. I'll be putting all the contact details of my other media and social media links below, and I've also probably going to link you a video that I attended, a webinar on nest boxes, which was very informative, so I'll probably put the link to that in there as well. Okay, nice to see you again. See you in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.